Welcome to this episode of Ruby programming. So in this episode I want to talk about input and output methods, and I want to keep it very short and very simple because it's a very basic concept, and if you've learned programming in any other language, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? So before we get into that, I really hope you guys have already installed Ruby in your systems, so you can follow my examples as I go along with it. So if you've installed Ruby in your system and if you see this, then you're good to go, right? So to start off, we have to type IRB, which is short for Interactive Ruby. We've talked about this, right? So once you're inside of it, I want you guys to write puts hello world. So we've done this in the previous example also. So this is one of the example of output methods in Ruby, right, which is puts, right? So puts is a method which outputs anything. Say puts 1 2 3 5 put outputs a number, outputs a string, whatever you want, outputs float, right? You can also use it in methods like we did in the last episode. Hello, whatever. Yep. Yeah, this is my version of hello world, and this is how I spell hello world. Okay, so this is one example of output methods in Ruby. Right, now another example which is almost similar to puts is print. Right, if I print hello world just like I did above, I'll get the same output, right? If I do print 1 2 3 4 5, then I get the same output, right? Then why do we have two methods which are almost similar? It's because it's almost similar but not exactly. So the difference is that let me show you, right? I use the same output, okay, but this time instead of puts, if I do print hello, okay, hello, I hope I get it right this time. Okay, so if I call this method now, I get hello world in one line, and here I'm getting the output in two different lines, right? So this is the difference between puts and print. So what puts does is, if you've written puts hello, it'll output that immediately, and then it'll move on to the next puts, right? Whereas print, what print does is it collects all the print statements and then outputs them all together, right? So these are useful, and puts are useful in some scenarios and prints are useful in some other scenarios, right? And then there's again another output that I want to talk about, which is not so well known as not as well known as puts and print, which is p. So before getting into p, let's see what happens when I do this, right? Hello world, I just don't seem to get it right. So let's do puts hello world dot inspect, right? So dot inspect, it's a debugging method, right? We call it debugging. So once you're a developer, right, once you've started to write programs and stuff, you'll face a lot of bugs and issues in your programs, right, in your softwares. And dot inspect helps us to find out what the problems are. Not, it's not like a all-in-one solution, but it's one of the solutions that that we commonly often use to find out what the problem is, right? So if you haven't noticed, I'll show you what the difference is between puts and just plain puts hello world and puts hello world dot inspect, right? So here you can see that it's outputting only the sentence, right, not the quotes. So the quotes represent that it's a string. Okay, so once you see that these quotes, you know that it's a string, right? So dot inspect helps us to find out what class an object belongs to, right? I'll talk about what classes and objects are in the later episode once we get into object oriented programming. So for now, all you need to know is that dot inspect helps us to find out what what the classes or what the object, what this thing actually is, right? So let's take an array for example, right? An array is basically a collection of numbers. Okay, again we'll get into it later, right? So right now, when I did puts 135, it's outputting 135 just like it's supposed to. Now once I do 1 3 and 5 dot inspect, I get 1 3 and 5, right? So this is the way to to output the class or the object entirely, right? So what P is, getting back to it, what P actually is puts this only. So once if you do 1 3 and 5, we get the exact same thing, right? So instead of using puts 135 dot inspect, which I've seen a lot of developers and professional developers do, we can just do P1 3 and 5. So this is one of the output methods in Ruby, right? So this is what P is like. It's exactly what this P is. So P, if you see, P is P object dot inspect, and this is the implementation of P. So when you do P hello world, you get that, right? So these are the output methods that you need to know for now, right? So these output methods will help you to learn Ruby programming for now, the basics, right? If we go into what output methods are there, all you need to know for now are gets method. It's similar, it's not similar, it's exactly opposite to what puts does, right? So puts hello world outputs hello world, right? Now gets a string or a string from the user, and stores it into this variable C, right? Or we can just do gets also. And now if I do hello world, we have successfully entered hello world in the system or in the program, right? So the gets is very useful when you need user input from user input in the program, because so we remember in the last episode we made a method like this, right? And then we did word this word this, right? So what this does is it outputs whatever we enter in this method or this method, right? Which it didn't because of I missed that. Okay, so what if you want this to be entered by a user? You as a developer have entered hello world, but you want the user to enter the name, right? So the way to do that is gets. Now it's a name equals gets, and I am gonna write hot codes because that's the name of my channel. And now you want to output that name, so you do puts name, right? So this is how you enter data and you also output data in Ruby. So I think this is it for this episode. In the next episode we'll talk about arithmetic operators, and after that I think we are ready to create our first actual Ruby program in an actual code editors. So before going to the next episode, I really want you guys to download and install a good code editor, right? See, you can write Ruby in editors like Notepad, or if you're using Ubuntu like me, or in gedit as well, right? But for conveniences, I want you guys to install a proper code editor like code which I'm using, or any other editors like Sublime, Atom, Bracket. There's a variety of those. You can choose whatever you want and download and install them. I'm gonna post a link to the download website of Visual Studio Code because that's what I have. You guys can install this, or go and install your own ID if you want, right? So you want to install Sublime, all you have to do is type Sublime, and you see the download link here, right? So I'm gonna post a link to one of these editors in the description below, so that you guys can install and get ready for the next episode. So thank you so much for this, for watching my videos, and I hope you guys like and subscribe. I just subscribe also, it's fine, I don't need likes, but please do, and please watch all my videos so that you can learn the basics of Ruby programming. Then we can move on to advanced Ruby programming and even data structures in Ruby. Okay, thank you so much.